Hey everyone, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well on this lovely Tuesday. Yeah, I just wanted to pop on and catch up and give an update on my meeting yesterday regarding my work from home, like fully remote. So, quick backstory, I was out of work for a bit due to mental health reasons, and my doctor sent me an accommodation note for my work to basically allow me to work fully remote instead of having to go in twice a week. Um, and happy to say it was approved. I thought they had to wait for my big boss to get back to get her approval, but apparently HR approved it and just told her, like, I will not be coming into office. Um, so I was super nervous to meet with her yesterday, like super nervous, popped an extra anxiety pill. Um, and we first get in the Zoom and I'm like, oh my God, like, how is she gonna tell me? You know what I mean? Like, what if they deny it? Um, and I was talking to myself, I'm like, okay, if they deny it, you can just use one of the small rooms whenever you go in. So you're not in the big main room, you go in a small room, only one person can be in there, and you would just work from there. So I was already trying to like prepare myself because I didn't want to show any disappointment or anything in the meeting. So, excuse me. So she was kind of catching me up on things while I was out. There were system changes, like we handle scheduling now. Um, we canceled out or got rid of one program and now started a new program. So there were quite a bit of changes, and she kind of updated me on that. And then she brought up work from home and how there are agents, like we send out an engagement survey to kind of get a pulse on the team, and there's like different questions on it and they answer it. And then they can also put questions on there or put like feedback on it. So a lot of the feedback was people are pissed that they're being forced to go in. And she was like, this is coming directly from the big guy, like the one and only big guy. He wants people to go in office at least once a week. She's like, if I had it my way, I wouldn't have people come in because we've all proved that we can work from home efficiently. We haven't had any issues, and the people that we did have issues with are no longer with the company. Um, so everyone works really well from home, and basically the feedback was they feel forced. And she did, even though she denies saying it, she did say no one will ever have to work from the office. Like we are fully remote moving forward. So no one has to worry about it. She doesn't remember saying it, but she absolutely said it. But again, this wasn't her choice. It came from the big guy. So technically she still stuck to her word, because if it was up to her, we wouldn't go in office. But we all have someone to answer to, and she has to answer to the big guy. So she was like talking about this, and I told her about a certain agent that's in another state and has to go in office for tax reasons. But she was like saying to me, well, what if I move to North Carolina? Would they know? And I was like, dude, are you really asking me that right now? Like, I know we're friends, but I'm also a supervisor, and I'm not putting my job on the line for you. I was like, yes, they would notice because of our VPN, which I wasn't certain, but my boss confirmed like that is actually true. Like, if someone works in a different state, IT can see it and they can flag it. And this actually happened with someone in the UK. They went and worked from Romania and didn't tell anyone, and it got flagged because they thought our system was being hacked because someone logged in from Romania. Um, so she was talking about that, and then she like casually was just like, so I don't know how comfortable you are like talking to your team about like what you've gone through, but they may ask like, why is Lee not coming in office? And I was like, did she just say that? And she was like, so I don't know what your response to them would be if you want me to help you with a response. And I was like, listen, I'm very open about like why I was out. I didn't tell them the nitty-gritty details because it's no one's business, but they do know I was out to work on some mental health issues. I was struggling. And I said, but I'm not going to tell anyone that I'm fully remote. Like, I'm not going to go around saying, oh, guess what? I got a note and I don't have to go in. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone. Um, and she was like, no worries. And I said, and not for nothing, my team is in Denver. I have one agent in the US. So, like, I'm not worried about it. And she was like, okay, I just, want you to know, like, obviously we make accommodations and, you're going to work from home and that's fine. She's like, but, some people just don't want to do it because they don't want to do it. And I was like, no, I totally get that. And, I'll have the conversation when it comes. And I said, I'm pretty good at just talking from the heart. If you tell me I have to say this, this, and this, I'm going to say it in my own way. That's just how I am. So yeah, the meeting was supposed to be a half hour, ended up being an hour. And it was good. Like afterwards, I was like, oh God, thank you. And the weird thing though is HR never emailed me back. They never said, hey, we've approved your accommodation. They just basically told her like, hey, Lee's working from home moving forward. So I found out like that. Like she didn't even come out and say like, oh, HR approved, nothing. Um, so yeah, so that's where we're at. And I feel so relieved. I feel so happy and so fortunate and grateful that I get to work from home and not have to deal with all the of anxiety and having to be in a large room with a group of like a lot of people and the constant distractions of people coming up and talking and just talking in general around me. Like I can't focus and it stresses me out and I can't do my work when I'm there. I'm just not used to it. COVID fucked that up, basically. Um, so yeah, that's the update. So I'm really happy about that. And again, thankful that they approved it. And it was funny because we were talking about um because people also complained that this year our merit increases were pretty small. Um, but we had redundancies this year, which means that we laid off people. So if there were two, or let's say there were five designers, um, and our budget only needed three, we laid off the other two. And there's a whole system that they go through to decide who's going to go and whatnot. So we laid off people again this year, which is always hard to do. It's sad to see, but like they laid off some like big name people, and basically, like there was this one person that was like global design manager. They let her go, and she's been with the company for like 6 years, 7 years. So it was really shocking some of the people that they let go. It was like, holy crap, this other girl in the design team who just had a shit attitude. She used to be in CS and she was just she was one of those that was always offended by everything. She always had an attitude doing her work. She didn't want to do her work. Just so she was let go. Which I never want to see someone lose their job. I'm not happy that any of them got let go. It's just one of those things where I get why certain people were let go. Um, so people were pissed off that we didn't get like, it was basically like 2% across the board, which isn't much, but I was shocked we got anything and I appreciate it because any little bit helps. And I think mine was like 68 cents. It's closer to $1, right? So, um, we were talking about that and I just was saying like you know, I want to get out of CS. The hard thing is I don't want to leave this company because there's good management and that's hard to find. And I'm not talking about the one supervisor that sucks. Like I don't deal with her. My boss, my boss's boss, my boss's boss's boss. Um, you know, I'm not gonna find a place that truly cares about me as a person, or it's gonna be hard. And you risk that when you go to a new job. You don't know what the environment is like. And a lot of places are very toxic. They're very catty. We don't have that here. I'm so sick of customer service, but that doesn't mean that I need to leave the company. It just means I need to figure out this year where in the company I can move. And I told her that is my goal. And she was like, I look for jobs all the time. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, she's like, I look for jobs all the time. She's like, and I look at other roles that are like my role, and I try to figure out if I am making what I should be made. And sometimes I'm like, wow, all right, I'm making exactly what I should make. And then other companies, I'm like, holy shit, I'm not making what I should make. Um, and she was like, I always tell you guys follow the money. And I said, and I totally agree with that. I said, the problem is you can follow the money, but end up in a toxic workplace. And I mentally would not be able to handle that. Um, that would just, I would shoot myself in the foot at that point, like leaving for more money, but getting stuck in a situation where I'm miserable. Um, like I said, there are parts about my role right now that I like. The biggest part that I am done with is the customer facing side of it. So dealing with escalations, having to hop on channels when it's busy. Like I don't want to deal with any of that anymore. And the other thing, which is not like a big deal breaker thing for me, but I would love to work like 9 to 5:30. I work 11 to 7:30, and you know, it sucks at 5:30 when everyone leaves and it's just me and a senior agent. And like later this week, I'm alone for 2 nights because the senior agent I work with is off. So it's just going to be me, and it sucks. I hate it. Um, the upside to these hours is I have time before my shift starts to like do different things. And so I don't know. It's like it's a good and a bad, but I'm going to talk to my boss to see if there's ever going to be a chance for me to just move down to 9 to 5:30, because ever since I started at this company, I've never worked 9 to 5:30. My hours used to be um I think it was 10 to 6:30 were my hours. Um and then for a while we had to do like 3 to 11, like 3 to 11 shift, which sucked. So yeah, I'm gonna ask. It can't hurt to ask if there's ever gonna be a chance. You know what I mean? Like he would be totally fine working alone on the night shift. Like totally fine. He did it the whole time that I wasn't here. He basically worked alone. Um, so yeah. So besides that, I have my therapy appointment coming up at noon today. I haven't met with her since, I don't know, it's been a few weeks. So that should be interesting. I'm really not in the mood to like share feelings and deal with shit like that right now. But I have to. So, um, but yeah, besides that, not too much going on. It's very quiet. I have to finish so many modules, like trainings that I have to go through because it's the first of the year. So a lot of them that we did last year have expired. So we have to retake everything like GDPR, which is like the German form of HIPAA. Um, I have to do cybersecurity, and then I have to go through like all of our policies. They've made changes on some of them. So just so much reading, so much reading. So I'm gonna continue working on that today. I've been doing like little chunks at a time because there's just so much of it. There's so much. Um, and yeah, besides that, not too much going on. I am looking forward to the weekend. It's a long weekend, but also I get to finally go see my mom's boyfriend. I haven't seen him since her funeral last year. And apparently he's kind of been struggling and going through some things. He ended up going back into detox, and then he was in the hospital for like medical reasons. Um, and so I had been trying to get in touch with him for months, and he just wouldn't respond to me. And I honestly thought he was mad at me because I was the one that made the call to take my mom off the ventilator. And I think that's just a guilt that I'll always feel. And so maybe he doesn't even think of it like that, but it's me feeling guilty that, like, what if I waited a little bit longer? Would she have come out of it? They assured me she wouldn't. She was out without oxygen for like a good hour to her brain. So um so yeah, I thought that's why he wasn't talking to me. You know what I mean? I thought he was mad at me, but turns out he, went through a dark time, which makes it, they were together for like 17, 18 years. Um, and so it hit him really hard. That was his best friend. Um, so yeah, so I get to go see him this weekend. He moved from, the apartment that they shared. He has a new apartment now, so I get to go see him and Fat Cat Callie. So I'm looking forward to that. And besides that, I'm doing nothing this weekend, and it's going to be great. So yeah. So I'm gonna log off. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.